So, our today's topic in our social science class, it is the genealogies. So, previous class we have already discussed about the Samudragupta's Prasasti that was found on Prayagraj or Allahabad, and Prasastis and what they tell us. Okay. And yesterday I have also mentioned a map, and on that map the different places mentioned with different colors. So, it is also present in page number 113, those have old NCERT book, and in new book it is also in chapter number 10. So, can you tell me the page number? Anyone? Tell me the page number of your new NCERT book where the map is present, and the name of the chapter New Empires and Kingdom. Okay, it is 105. Thank you. Okay, sorry, it is in new book, and in old book the page number is 130. Now, today we are going to discuss about the chapter, that is subunit, that is the genealogies, and genealogies in page number 106 and it is in 114. So, you know what is Prasasti? Prasastis are actually one type of inscription that described about the king and praised the king, because the meaning, Sanskrit meaning of the word Prasasti is in praise of, and Prasastis were composed for some of the rulers you read in the chapter 10, such as the Gautamiputra Sri Satkarni, and the Prayagraj Prasasti or Allahabad Prasasti was found on the Ashokan pillar at Prayagraj or Allahabad. And on the map you have found the 4 different areas where Samudragupta, the Gupta ruler, conquered. The green portion, it is the Aryabharta, the directly controlled region by Samudragupta. The Deccan kingdoms pointed with red points in the South India, these are the area where Samudragupta conquered, and this area was called Dakshinapatha. And the next one, it is the pink area. This pink area is the inner circle of neighboring states, including Assam, Central Bengal, Nepal, and a number of Ganasangas. Those are actually paid tribute to Samudragupta and followed his orders and also attended his courts. And the rest of the portion, the blue color of areas, the color mentioned with blue color, these are the rulers of the outlying areas, including Shakas and the descendants of Kushanas who ruled these areas, and also Sri Lanka. And Sri Lankan princess also married with Samudragupta and his family, and there the Sri Lankan princess often married with the Gupta rulers at the time. Now, today it is genealogy. What is genealogy? Genealogy means the family tree, and this one mentions Samudragupta's great grandfather, grandfather, father and mother. His mother was Kumara Devi. So, if I draw that the founder of Gupta dynasty, that is Sri Gupta, next Chandragupta I, next Samudragupta, and after that the son of Samudragupta, Chandragupta II. Or Vikramaditya, the same person, and later on other rulers also such as Skandagupta, Kumaragupta, etc. Budgupta is the last ruler of this dynasty, Budgupta. So, founder Srigupta. So, in this way there is genealogy, and Samudragupta's mother is Kumara Devi. So, Kumara Devi, and they have, and Samudragupta was the son of Kumara Devi and Chandragupta I, and his mother was a Licchavi princess. And you know that Licchavis are the one of part of Ganasangas. Okay, Licchavi is a Ganasanga, and his mother Kumara Devi belonged to the Licchavi Gana. So, do you know any other personalities from Licchavi Gana? So, students, do you know any other personalities in history, on your history book, who was from the Licchavi Gana? Yes, very good, both of you, Srija and Aruni. It is the Vardhaman Mahavir or Mahavir Jain, who was belonged to the Licchavi Gana, a Kshatriya community. And in this way, this is the genealogy. So, what was said in the genealogy, that Gupta dynasty, the rulers of the Gupta dynasty, previously they have the acquired the title Maharajas, mainly the grandfather and great grandfather of Samudragupta. They acquired and mentioned simply as Maharajas, but Chandragupta I, the father of Samudragupta, was acquired the title Maharajadhiraj, adopted the grand title, and Maharajadhiraj means the kings of the kings. Okay, great kings or emperor. So, that is why we called the Guptas as emperor, and the area that was under the control of the Guptas was Gupta Empire. So, in this way we can see also that how did the family gradually rose to importance. At first they were Maharajas, and after that they gained their importance and called Maharajadhiraja and acquired the title Maharajadhiraja and conquered the distant lands of the subcontinent and dominate almost the entire subcontinent, Indian subcontinent. In the map of page number 105, you can see the area was directly under the control of the Guptas. So, Samudragupta in turn figures in the genealogies of later rulers of the dynasty. So, in the genealogies of the later rulers also Samudragupta mentioned, such as his son Chandragupta II. You can see the board, the Chandragupta II I have written lower part of the board, and Chandragupta II was the son of Samudragupta, and he was also called as Vikramaditya in some inscription, and historian believes that Vikramaditya was the same person was mentioned in the Betal Pachisi. It is another book written in at the time. It is one type of folk tale also. Now, the Chandragupta was a very famous ruler, and at the time he also defeated the Shakas who ruled the western side of the India. Okay, Shakas is another people, another group or dynasty, those who ruled in Indian subcontinent for a long time, and in the time of Guptas they defeated the Shakas and limited their existence only on the western side of India, mainly the Gujarat and although Rajasthan and the Sindh, all these regions, Sindh. today's in Pakistan. Okay. So, according to later belief, his court was full of learned people called Navratna, 9 important people. Yes, folklore. 9 important people also attended the court of Chandragupta II, including Kalidasa, the great poet. You will read about Kalidasa in chapter number 12, and another one, it is the Aryabhatta, the great astronomer who wrote the book Aryabhatyam. Okay students, so this is the details of genealogy and the Guptas. Now I am just starting the Harshavardhana Harsha Charita. If you are willing, then I will start the Harshavardhana Harsha Charita. So can I start that subunit? Okay, Sombit and Sujita typing. So we have another 5 minutes, so we can discuss this. Okay, so I am discussing the first half of the Harshavardhana. So you know that Harshavardhana, while we can learn about the Gupta rulers from their inscription and coins, we can find out about some kings from biographies. Okay. So this is the genealogy. Now about the Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana was a king, and we know about the history of Harshavardhana from the account of Huan Zhang, who came to India 1400 years ago, and also the book written by his court poet Banabhatta, and the name of the biography of Harshavardhana, Harsha Charita, written by Banabhatta. Harsha Charita, the biography of Harshavardhana. The Harshavardhana ruler of Pushyabhuti dynasty, and his father's name and his Harsha was not the eldest son of his father. He became king of Thaneshwar after both his father and elder brother died. Thaneshwar is a place situated in northern UP, that region, and his brother-in-law was the ruler of Kannauj. And when he was killed by the ruler of Bengal, Shashank, so the Harsha took over the kingdom of Kannauj. So when his brother-in-law was killed by the ruler of Kannauj, killed by the ruler of Bengal, Shashank. So then, to took revenge, the elder brother of Harshavardhan, Rajyavardhan, was the king at the time who went, but he was also defeated and killed by Shashank, and finally the Harshavardhan took over the kingdom of Kannauj and then led an army against the ruler of Bengal. Although he was successful in the east and conquered both Magadha and Bengal, but he was not successful elsewhere. Until Harshavardhan, until the Shashank lived, the Harshavardhana never conquered the Bengal, and he tried to cross the Narmada to march into the Deccan, but in other areas he was successful, such as in region of South India. He crossed the Narmada river in western India, and marched into Deccan. Deccan means today's Andhra Pradesh region, and but was stopped by a ruler belonging to the Chalukya dynasty, Pulakeshin II. Another dynasty at that time ruled in the southern India, in Deccan area, that is the Chalukya dynasty. They were very much powerful, and the most successful king and powerful king of that dynasty, Pulakeshin II, also stopped the progress of Harshavardhana. So, Harshavardhana's dynasty limited in the northern India, northern Indian region, mainly in Gangetic plain. Okay, students. So, this is the story of Harshavardhana. So, when his elder brother died and elder brother and his brother-in-law also died in a battle to capture Kanauj, then he also went to take revenge of his brothers and his brother-in-law's death, and also he is quite successful in some portion, but not successful completely until the Shashank lived. Okay, students, so this is the story of Harshavardhana and the Harsha Charitra. So, if you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, Shushabhan. So, thank you for joining, and I am finishing my today's class. So, next day we will going to discuss another subunit, that is the how were these kingdoms administered, and the rest next part, that is the Pallavas, Chalukyas and Pulakeshin Prasasti is not included in your syllabus. So, thank you everyone, bye.